Hello. I've decided to start recording a dream journal because it's easier to just blurt it out verbally instead of writing it down. So I'll start with the dream that I had today at noon. I had a lucid dream, the third one I think I've ever had in my life. Okay then. It started out with me waking up in my bed and looking outside of my window, and I saw a tree that's burning up in flames. And then I woke up in my bed, and I thought to myself, I wonder what that means. I should go see what that means. But then I didn't. I got up from my bed, I walked out of my door of my room, and I saw my mom walking into a door that's supposed to lead to a bathroom, but it doesn't exist in waking life. And I wanted to say something to her, but she vanished into the door. So I looked to the wall, and there was a mirror there. And as I looked to the mirror, I felt like grumpy. I felt like all sad and grumpy. And then I saw behind me, like a few meters back in the living room, I saw my aunt, my old aunt. That's like, she's kind of a grumpy person. I wouldn't say she's grumpy. She's not grumpy anymore, but she used to be. She's kind of a prude and stuff. So I saw her, and she looked really sad. And I walked over to her. I felt compassionate. I walked over to her, and I hugged her and comforted her. And I'm not sure, but like the next thing I remember is that my mom threw this huge feast in the living room. There was a big table that was set up like beautifully, more beautiful than I've ever seen it in real life, waking life. And she hosted it for like politicians and military people and religious people and stuff, a bunch of like people that I wouldn't like. And she asked me to bring her wine or something, and I didn't really hear her properly or understand her. I walked over somewhere else where I saw this like a bunch of round shelves, and I found a glass there that had fruit-shaped ice in it, and I brought that to my mom, and I was like, is this what you need? And I wasn't sure. And then I went back to my room, and a lot of things happened. It took a while for me to realize that I'm dreaming. By this point, I didn't realize that I was dreaming yet. And my room started filling up with people. There was like a party going on here. And my brother was here, and his girlfriend was here, and I remember there being a baby here, and then the baby disappeared, and I was sad because of it. I was like, where's the baby? And then another baby appeared, a different one. And that's when I started realizing I have control over what's going on. And I also remember, that was after. Okay, at this point I started realizing that I have control over what's going on, and I started telling people, look, I'm having a lucid dream. I'm having a lucid dream for all day now. Okay, I need to make sure that I'm not asleep, because I thought to myself, maybe this is what Bashar was talking about. Maybe I finally achieved having full control over my reality and waking life as well. That's what I was hoping for. And I said, okay, what do I have to do to test myself? How can I test this? And then I said, okay, can someone give me some math equation to solve so that I can, if I can't solve it, then it means that I'm asleep. I'm sleeping, that I'm dreaming. So, like, everybody, like, started yelling and talking about it, and then someone got up with a whiteboard and gave out a really hard equation that I didn't know how to solve. So I was like, what are you doing? Give me something easy, like some 2-digit multiplication or something. And then I found paper and a pencil, and I remember just so hard trying to write down 2-3 times, and it was so hard, and I did it over and over again. I couldn't write the entire equation, but I did manage to write 2 and 3 and x. And then I gave that up, and it didn't occur to me that I was dreaming though at this point. And then I remember looking in the mirror and appearing different, like my eyes the skin around my eyes was smoother. All of my skin was smoother. I still had blemishes here. But actually, I don't have blemishes right now, but I did. I had like a few blemishes on my cheeks, and my eyes looked smoother. I remember saying in the dream, my left eye looks so different. Then I looked further, and I saw that my eyes weren't blue. My eyes were brown. And they changed as I looked at them. And then suddenly I had this weird mask on, like here and here, like some blue colored mask, and I had this weird tube thing here, and I was laughing and I was saying, oh, I look scary with the mask. And also at some point I remember thinking that I might have to go to work, and then the tree outside lit on fire again, and I was like, oh no you don't, and then it stopped being on fire, and I was really happy. And then I really started understanding that I have complete control over the dream. And I remember thinking that that I have to go to work, but maybe if I have developed complete control over everything that's going on, maybe I won't have to go to work at all eventually. I'm really hoping for that. What else happened? I don't remember much else happening here. Then I remember saying, that's after I completely realized that I have full control of the dream. I said, okay, what should I do now? And I remember having this desire for a boy, and I thought about a guy I knew. That in waking life he doesn't live in this country, so I'd have to take a computer and Skype him. So I thought about that in the dream, and it kind of bummed me out that I'd have to do that. Also, doesn't really deliver on the whole desiring companionship thing. So I thought that, and I got a bit upset. And then everybody that were still there, like my brother and his girlfriend and a bunch of other people, they looked suddenly a bit sad too. They got a bit down, and they said, yeah, we think we should be leaving now. And then they left. And then I looked outside the window, and I saw two boys that I supposedly knew, but I don't know them in real life. They were like some guys that I know from like friends of friends or something. That's what it felt like. And they looked at me, but I knew that they could see me, but I didn't know if I wanted them to come over, and I was like pondering that. And then like a cat went next to them, and they looked at the cat and started playing with it, and then I just stopped looking at them. And then I went back outside into the living room, and I saw a friend of mine with whom I've had intercourse, and I told him, look, we're going to start fresh now. We're going to start a new page. And in the dream I thought that we're going to start a new page and just be friends, and it's just all going to be platonic and soothing and easy. And we walked back to my room together, and we stood in front of each other and looked in each other's eyes and just started kissing and making out. And I closed my eyes, and I felt him. I felt his body against mine. I felt his lips move, and I felt his penis thrusting against me. And my visual, though, I saw like many flags, like state flags, many of them, and someone was saying China, and all sorts of like names of places, and it was just too weird for me. And so I opened my eyes and I stopped him and I said, okay, look, physically it's all good, but I close my eyes and I see these weird things and I hear these weird things, and it's not fun for me. And he said okay, and we stopped. Oh yeah, and the last part I remember, that was the greatest. He left, and then I went back into the living room, and I went to the living room window. I opened the window, and I just stepped outside the window, and I heard my mom talking on the phone in the kitchen next to me, and I was like, I know that if she saw me doing that, she'd be really, like, hysterical, so I was like, as long as she doesn't see me, then I'm okay. And then I saw, I live in the middle of a city. There's like a street under me with buildings and cars, but in the dream it was like I was living on the first floor, and there was grass around the house, and a building but far away from the house, and there was a tree, like a pine tree, but it looked ancient, and there isn't a tree like this on earth, and it was amazing, so amazing. It was the best part of the dream. The tree had like it was piney. It had like piney leaves, and I don't remember exactly how the fruits looked like. They looked like some sort of pine cones, but not like regular pine cones that you'd know. And it reached its branches to me, and I looked at it, and it reached out to me so I could see it better. And I remember talking to someone who wasn't there and saying, "Wow, this is so beautiful. This tree is so nice." And I remember distinctly that it reached out with one branch, and then the other branch that reached out to me felt more feminine. As weird as that sounds, it felt more feminine. So that was the tree, and then I looked over to the right of it, and there were like these weird birds that kind of looked like they were made out of metal. They were like this big, and they made a lot of noise. They were squawking all over the place, and at this point I knew I was dreaming already. I was really enjoying it, and I mean, I didn't know I was dreaming, but I was in this state where I knew that I was creating what I was seeing. So I thought to myself, it doesn't make sense for birds to make so much noise, or these birds don't make sense. That's what I said. That's what I thought to myself, I mean. And then I saw also I was in this mood of creating animals for some reason, and I saw this creature that has like a brown mouth with tons of teeth in it, like you'd see in a horror movie. And then something came and grabbed it and like sliced its skin open and ripped its skin off. And I remember in the dream I was making a frowny face because I was like, don't like it that it does that. And yet I created it, so that's kind of a paradox. And that's about when I got up. That's when I woke up and I was like, holy shit, that was a dream. Oh, that was a dream. I was so sure that I was awake and that I achieved the ability to control everything. So that's it, and thank you for watching if you watched. Bye-bye.